For those who are not yet aware, Samsung has unveiled the Galaxy Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra, which also means it's the second anniversary of the Galaxy Note 9. Which again also means that used Note 9s are cheaper and more affordable than ever. If you're looking to own a Galaxy Note 9 in 2020, let me share with you my thoughts about one of the best Galaxy Notes ever after 2 years worth of usage. That's right, ever since the release of this phone, I've been using it as my daily driver. Starting from the Oreo days until Google decided to forego dessert names for its future Android versions, it's my first flagship phone that lasts 24 months and counting. So, how does it perform after 2 years? Well, I'd say it's pretty damn impressive. As per usual, let's start with the design. As a reviewer, I've experienced the newer phones out there, which feature narrow bodies and longer screens. Switching from those to the Galaxy Note 9 and vice versa, I can immediately tell that this phone is a bit wider. But then after several hours of use, I started getting used to it until I'm comfortable using it with one hand. And despite the wider footprint, I'm still astonished by the slim form factor. I mean, the dimension is about 8.8mm, but it feels thinner than that. I guess the curved glass on both back and front really helps in providing that slimmer feel. So enough about that, what about the durability? Well, Samsung shipped the Galaxy Note 9 with back-to-back Gorilla Glass 5 protection. It's not as good as Glass 6 nor the Victus on the Note 20 Ultra, but it's not totally useless. To be fair though, the majority of my 2 years were spent with tempered glass on the front. This then leaves us with the back panel to judge. Recently, I've been rocking this phone naked because cases aren't really my thing. I've been switching back and forth, but my happy place really is getting that premium feel from a previously $1,000 phone. While I did baby this phone for most of its lifetime, there are hairline scratches that are nearly invisible to the eye. I mean, you really have to look for it. The good thing though is that I never had deep scratches nor cracks even after 2 or 3 drops with a case on it. But make no mistake, a single accidental drop will shatter this phone. I guess if there's one issue that I need to mention here, that's the camera module. The majority of the Galaxy Note 9 owners reported that the camera module vibrates consistently when either recording or taking a photo. This unit also had that problem, which saw Samsung tearing up the glass on the back and replacing the module. Though that was a short scare back then, I was happy that the IP68 water and dust resistance rating is still intact. So long you have your unit repaired by an official Samsung Service Center technician, you can still submerge your Galaxy Note 9 in water. Overall, the Galaxy Note 9 may not be the most eye-catching device in 2020, but I have to say that it's still a solid and expensive looking phone. And you'll definitely love that humpless camera experience. While I do find the cases to be just added bulk, it's actually really useful if you play a lot of games horizontally. And since we've talked about the design, let's talk about the display. No matter what mid-range phone brands release today, I think the Galaxy Note 9 still has the advantage when it comes to brightness, sharpness, and color accuracy. For starters, we're looking at a Super AMOLED 6.4 inches 1440p display in a nearly 19:9 aspect ratio. It supports HDR10 as well as always-on display. Now, we all know how great Samsung panels are provided it's OLED, but then you may be thinking that the display must now have burn-in. Well, I regret to inform you, but my unit doesn't have a single burn-in even after 24 months. Part of why is that is probably because I don't play games for hours. However, I do fidget on my phone a lot. And to be honest, I did take some precautionary measures. Since the status bar on the top and the navigational buttons are the ones prone to burn in, I embraced gestures completely and installed immersive full screen mode from the Play Store to hide the status bar. Really, the only thing that's missing here is the fast screen refresh rate. But, yep, there's a but. Samsung software has a trick up its sleeve. Ever since One UI arrived on the Galaxy Note 9, the animations and transitions have become fast and buttery smooth. It's so good that the phone feels a lot smoother than its counterparts, and sometimes some mid-range phones with a 90Hz refresh rate. I know this because I had spent time with Realme 6. 90Hz indeed spoils you with its faster refresh rate, but due to the limited hardware and software, developers can't unlock the full potential of the device. Some corners needed to be cut, such as the total render time and speed of an animation. Now, you may be saying that Realme 6 is a mid-range phone and the Galaxy Note 9 is a flagship phone. That's a valid argument. However, the price of the Galaxy Note 9 is close to that of Realme 6 Pro. Now if you compare this phone with the Note 20 Ultra or even the Realme X3 Super Zoom, those two will definitely provide a faster screen experience. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the Galaxy Note 9's hardware can make up for the lack of a faster refresh rate, and you shouldn't worry about that when thinking of getting this phone. With that said, we can now talk about the performance. The Galaxy Note 9 that I have here is the base model with 6GB RAM and 128GB storage. And since I'm from the Philippines, I got the short end of the stick, which is the Exynos 9810. If you're not aware, Snapdragon chipsets tend to perform better overall than its Exynos counterparts. And unfortunately, that seems to be true here as well. Make no mistake though, the Exynos version is plenty powerful for all sorts of apps, be it productivity or gaming. It's just not as efficient as the Snapdragon 845. By that, I mean the phone heats up easily when pushed to the limits, occasional frame drops are consistent when playing graphically intensive games, and the standby drain is real. Leaving this Exynos phone overnight means missing a 5 to 7% charge every time. It's just annoying. But then again, the silver lining is One UI. Samsung's skin may be full of uninstallable bloatware crap, but it's the best performance skin from the company yet. I like how you can schedule dark mode, remap Bixby, the S Pen support, which by the way is nice to have but not integral during my usage, and the extended support of gestures through One Hand Operation Plus, which is available in the Play Store for free. Like I mentioned earlier, One UI performs very smoothly. You still get the occasional stutters here and there, but which phone doesn't? I can comfortably say that the hardware and software of the Galaxy Note 9 can still last at least a year or two if you're really squeezing it. The battery will probably deplete faster than the raw performance here, especially now that Samsung is almost always on track when sending out monthly software updates. And for that 6GB of RAM, it's still plenty for whatever you need to do on your phone. I never felt the need to go higher than that, especially with my recent addiction to games. Where you may want to get a higher capacity is when using DeX. Believe it or not, there were several times when I made Samsung DeX as my laptop replacement. It wasn't the best experience, but it did let me type a lot of articles while my other devices are occupied. One thing that I noticed is that Spotify or any app that lets you play music or podcasts in the background sometimes closes itself for some reason. It used to happen a lot of times, but recently I haven't had one instance. I did some research and most users pointed out that the problem is from Samsung and not the RAM. So take that for what it's worth. I guess we can talk about performance without talking about battery life. 4000 mAh is clearly becoming the minimum standard, especially with 5000 and even 6000 slowly populating the space. With Galaxy Note 9, my usage went from 5 hours of screen time to almost 4 hours. For the past 2 years, I noticed that the runtime is shorter, probably because the battery cycle is now lower. However, it can still provide me a solid 1-day use whenever I'm out and about. You can easily kill the battery if you're using mobile data connection, so you will definitely need to bring a power bank in that case. Overall, I think the battery life is now average. If you have the money for it, I suggest replacing the older battery with a new one just to get longer runtimes. Now for the cameras. Unfortunately, the Galaxy Note 9 wasn't able to get the ultra-wide experience. Instead, you get the standard 12MP wide sensor and another 12MP for the telephoto lens that it offers 2x optical zoom. On the flip end, the 8MP selfie camera is present alongside a 2MP iris scanner. In the era of masks, the iris scanner and the fingerprint scanner have proven to be the two most valuable features of this phone. Anyway, let's go back to the cameras. After 2 software upgrades, the Galaxy Note 9 outputs slightly better photo quality than before. HDR is a bit less aggressive now and detail preservation has improved quite a lot. The main sensor can still capture great looking photos and most of the time better than what mid-range phones offer these days. The same goes when the lighting conditions start to be challenging. Night mode is also here, which isn't as good as the newer flagships but still outputs brighter night shots than most. The 12MP camera really shines when you have the perfect lighting condition. However, you still get that Samsung problem, which is overexposed images. As for the telephoto lens, despite the optical zoom, the quality is a bit worse than the main sensor. While I think ultrawide is a lot more useful, telephoto really is indeed important if you want to take portraits. A single tap easily removes the unwanted objects in the frame. If there's one thing that I really like about the cameras, that's the video capability. You can freely record up to 4K at 60, albeit without stabilization, but the quality is so good. Even 1080p looks good here. You can fully unlock your video skills now that Samsung shipped One UI 2.0 with Pro Mode for videos. Honestly, it's one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to upgrade from this phone yet. For the selfie camera, it's a different story. Though 4K video isn't possible, you can record up to 1440p. The only problem that I have here is that selfies tend to be softer than I like. Aside from the small sensor, Samsung still applies a minuscule amount of skin softening, resulting in a duller look. I mean, I do look better in those photos, but I prefer sharpness over softening. All said, where does that leave us? I think the Galaxy Note 9 is still worth the purchase, especially if you're looking for a powerful phone in the mid-range segment. On top of that, you get a free S Pen, audio jack, expandable storage, and Samsung DeX. So that's it for my Samsung Galaxy Note 9 review. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and as always, stay safe.